Welcome to eBOM's Computer Education Training channel. Please subscribe to my channel for training in computer education by clicking the red button below the video description. Thank you for supporting my channel. You can buy my book by clicking the link below the video description to support me. Thanks. Let's start to learn. Start a new spreadsheet. When Excel starts up, the program will display a new, blank workbook. This is fine, but you do not always have to build everything up from scratch. Alternatively, you can start a new spreadsheet manually, using various templates. 1. Click on the File tab in the top left corner of the screen. 2. Click on New. You will now choose which template you want to use. Templates for invoicing, budgeting, and even monitoring of blood pressure have already been installed. If you do not think the pre-installed templates are enough, it is possible to download many more via the search bar. Navigating the spreadsheet. You can use both mouse and keyboard to navigate the worksheet, but I recommend that you practice using the keyboard. It is a faster and economically better solution. You'll need to move things around a lot in the spreadsheet, and if you always use the mouse, you could easily develop a mouse arm. Using the keyboard to move around has other advantages which I shall return to later. There is always one, and only one, active cell in the spreadsheet. It is identified by a thick black border all around it called the cell pointer. You can choose a second active cell using the arrow keys or the mouse. Try pressing lightly on the arrow keys on the keyboard to move the cursor. Navigating large spreadsheets. When you navigate large spreadsheets, it becomes difficult to use the mouse. You can move quickly to specific locations in a spreadsheet using the keyboard. If you press down the Control key and press the Home key on the keyboard, the cursor moves to cell A1. If you hold down the Control key and use the arrow keys, you can skip to where something is happening, for example, be the outer edge of a table. If you have a table with 1000 rows and 50 columns in your spreadsheet, pressing the down arrow while you press down the Control key will take you to the last row of the table. Similarly, the up arrow will take you to the top. The principle is the same for moving right and left. This can also be used for selection of cells. If, in addition to pressing down the Control key, press down the Shift key as well, the cells will be selected. Cell pointer and autofill. If you take a close look at the cell pointer, you'll notice a small black square in the lower right corner of the cursor. This is the location of a feature with the awkward name autofill. Autofill can be used via the mouse if you need to quickly copy some cells. When you point to the little black square with the mouse cursor changes to a small black cross. Keep the left mouse button down and move the mouse until you have marked some cells, then release the mouse button again. Several things can happen when you do this. Either a simple copying of content from the active cell will take place or a series will be introduced. If, for example, you typed Monday in the active cell and used autofill to copy it, the subsequent cells will read Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. This is one kind of series. Excel has several predefined ranges for weekdays and months. You can also create your own series, and we will come back to that later. Writing in the cells. Try typing some numbers and text in different cells. When you finish typing something into a cell, press the Enter key on the keyboard. The cell below the cell you just typed in will become the active cell. Note also that if you write text in a cell, the text will be aligned to the left. If you type in numbers, the figure will be adjusted to the right. If you want to change something in a cell, you can double-click on it, which enables you to change the content. If it is the active cell you want to change, You can also press F2 on your keyboard if you merely wish to add something new. You just double-click on the active cell. Also note the formula bar, as shown here. It is currently showing what you type into the cells and may not seem especially important right now. But later, when you use formulas in some of the cells, the formula bar will show what kind of formula that is used in the active cell, while the active cell displays the result. Adaptation of cell size. The cells are the same from the start, but this can be changed. You can change the cell size by changing the row height and column width. Try moving your mouse over the column headers, A, B, C, etc. You will notice that the mouse cursor changes when it approaches a new column. When it does, you can press the left mouse button down while moving the mouse to adjust column width. The same method can be used to change the row height. Instead of clicking and dragging with your mouse, you can double-click it. This will adjust the column width so that it is just wide enough to show the largest cell in the column. You can experiment with this yourself. This method can also be used to adjust the row height. Selecting cells. To select a single cell, just move the cell pointer to it so that it becomes the active cell. If you want to select multiple cells, there are two ways to do it. 1. Point to a cell with the mouse, press the left mouse button down and drag the mouse, by which an area will be selected. Release the left mouse button when you have selected the area you wanted. The cell you clicked on first will be the active cell. 2. Move the cursor to the corner of the area you want to select. Hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and press the arrow keys. If you hold down the Shift, the selection will be adjusted. Release the Shift key when you are done selecting. Compound selection. You can also select multiple independent fields at once. Here you will have to use both mouse and keyboard simultaneously. You must hold down the Control key on your keyboard, and then select the desired fields with the mouse. Experiment a little with it yourself. Navigating inside a selection. If you have selected an area and then press one of the arrow keys on the keyboard, the selection will disappear. That is not always what we want, so instead, use the Tab key and Enter key on your keyboard to move to the right and downward respectively. You can use the same keys to move left and upwards by pressing down the Shift key simultaneously. You can buy my book by clicking the link below the video description to support me, thanks. Thanks for watching my video. Please like, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the red button below the video description.